Most people think millionaires are lucky, or that they just got in at the right time. But the truth? The vast majority of them follow a very specific set of money rules, and they stick to them without exception. These aren't just habits, they're mental frameworks that protect, grow, and multiply their wealth year after year. In this video, we're breaking down the 12 money rules millionaires never break, and how you can start applying them right now, no matter where you're starting from. And if you want more videos that break down the strategies of the wealthy, make sure you hit subscribe and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Let's kick things off with the first money rule. Always pay yourself first. Money is emotional. We earn it, spend it, save it, invest it, and most of the time, we do it without a clear set of rules. Millionaires don't operate like that. They have principles that act as guardrails, protecting them from bad decisions and guiding them toward smart ones. These rules aren't about being frugal to the point of misery or taking reckless risks for quick gains. They're about creating a system where every dollar has a job and every decision has a purpose. And it all starts with this: always pay yourself first. Millionaires never wait to see what's left over before they save or invest. They do it before spending a single dollar. This is why, even with fluctuating income, their wealth still grows steadily. It's not about the amount, it's about priority. When your first payment goes to your investments, savings, or retirement account, you've already locked in progress. The rest of your expenses adjust around it. This is the opposite of how most people live, and it's the reason why most never build lasting wealth. Warren Buffett put it perfectly: do not save what is left after spending, but spend what is left after saving. This one rule alone can change your entire financial trajectory. Let's move on to the next, because millionaires don't see money as just a way to cover bills or buy things. They see it as fuel for acquiring assets. Stocks, real estate, businesses, and intellectual property are their playgrounds. They know that income alone doesn't create wealth. Ownership does. Think about it. A high salary without assets is like running on a treadmill. You're expending effort, but you're not going anywhere. Millionaires also understand that different assets serve different purposes. Real estate can provide both appreciation and rental income. Stocks can grow through capital gains and dividends. Even owning a small stake in a business can create ongoing passive income. The real secret is starting small but consistent. They leverage compounding, reinvesting returns instead of spending them prematurely. For example, a $500 monthly investment growing at 8% annually turns into nearly $750,000 in 30 years without winning the lottery or landing a windfall. Millionaires think decades ahead, not just months. They aim to reach a point where their asset income covers all living expenses, making their job optional. That's the point where wealth stops depending on physical effort and starts multiplying on its own. All right, moving forward. Ask any self-made millionaire how they protect their peace of mind, and you'll hear a common answer: multiple streams of income. This could mean a business plus rental properties, or a salary plus dividend-paying investments, or even royalties from creative work. The reasoning is simple. If one stream dries up, they're not scrambling. They treat income streams like a portfolio. Each one has its own role, risk, and return profile. For example, one stream might be steady but lower paying, while another might be volatile but with higher upside. Millionaires also reinvest earnings from one stream into creating another. A side hustle's profits might go toward buying rental property. Dividend income might fund an online business. And importantly, they build these streams one at a time, focusing until it's stable before adding the next. This prevents burnout and ensures each income source is sustainable. Even something small, like a $200 a month side hustle, adds a safety layer that most people never have. By the way, if you're enjoying the video so far and want more topics like this, comment the word "more" so I know. Now that we have a solid foundation, let's talk about one of the most transformative shifts you can make: treating your personal finances like a business. Millionaires run their money like CEOs run companies. They track cash flow religiously, measure ROI on every dollar, and make decisions based on data, not mood. They know their profit margins, how much they keep after expenses, and constantly work to improve them. They audit spending, cut what isn't working, and reinvest into what generates results. And speaking of purpose-driven wealth, that's exactly why I'm testing something right now. I'm building a Google Sheets command center, simple but powerful, to track net worth, investments, income, cash flow, spending habits, and compounding progress all in one place. It's more than a tracker. It's a strategy hub, the kind of thing I wish I had 10 years ago. If enough people want it, I'll launch it soon with an exclusive discount for early supporters. You can join the early access waitlist below. The tool will cost less than one bad financial decision, and that's the point. Let's move on to something most people completely overlook: protecting the downside. Millionaires aren't obsessed with how much they can make. They're obsessed with how much they could lose. They plan for worst-case scenarios before they even think about the best case. This isn't pessimism. It's smart risk management. They keep emergency funds that cover 6 to 12 months of living expenses, so a job loss or business slowdown doesn't force them into bad financial decisions. They also diversify investments so one poor-performing asset doesn't sink the whole portfolio. And they ensure what matters: health, property, income, and in some cases, even their business partners. It's not about being paranoid. It's about building a financial fortress so that no single event wipes them out. This mindset lets them take calculated risks, knowing they have a safety net. For example, if they're investing in a high-growth startup, they might limit their exposure to just 5% of their net worth. That way, a loss won't derail their entire plan. Protecting the downside isn't glamorous, but it's the quiet reason millionaires can keep playing the wealth-building game while others get knocked out early. All right, moving forward. Delaying gratification isn't about living a miserable life. Millionaires enjoy their money, but they do it on their terms. They often delay big purchases until their investments can comfortably pay for them. For example, instead of financing a $70,000 luxury car the moment they get a raise, they might wait until their portfolio generates $800 a month in passive income to cover the payment. This way, the purchase doesn't slow down their wealth growth. They also test drive lifestyle upgrades before committing, renting a vacation property for a week, before buying or borrowing a high-end gadget before splurging. Delaying gratification teaches patience, reduces impulse purchases, and ensures every expense is aligned with long-term goals. But here's the key: they don't eliminate enjoyment altogether. They schedule rewards as milestones, maybe taking a dream trip once their investments hit a certain benchmark. This balance keeps them motivated without sabotaging progress. It's a long game, and they play it strategically. Now that we're talking about keeping more of what you make, let's dive into the tax game. Because millionaires treat taxes as a controllable expense, not just a bill. They know taxes are often their single biggest cost, so they invest time and money into learning how to legally reduce them. They don't wait until April to think about taxes. They plan year-round. This could mean contributing to retirement accounts like 401ks and IRAs for tax deductions, holding investments long enough to qualify for lower capital gains rates, or using business structures like LLCs and S-Corp to write off legitimate expenses. Some even relocate part of the year to states with no income tax if it makes sense financially. But here's what's important: they work with experts. Millionaires hire tax professionals who specialize in their specific situation, whether that's real estate, entrepreneurship, or investing. They understand that paying for advice can save them far more than it costs. The result? More money stays in their pockets, compounding year after year, instead of going out the door unnecessarily. Let's keep going with a rule that seems simple, but has huge long-term impact: buying quality over quantity. Millionaires know that cheap is often expensive in the long run. They would rather buy one well-made item that lasts years than replace a cheaper version multiple times. This principle applies to clothing, technology, vehicles, tools, and especially business assets. For example, they'll invest in a reliable car that holds its value instead of chasing the latest flashy model that depreciates 20% in the first year. In business, they'll pay more for a skilled employee or a quality marketing campaign, because they know the returns will be higher and more consistent. Quality purchases also save time, reduce stress, and often hold resale value. Over decades, this habit compounds. Fewer replacements, fewer repairs, and more satisfaction. It's not about showing off, it's about buying once and buying right. In fact, many millionaires apply this same thinking to relationships, education, and even health, investing in what truly lasts. Let's dive into a truth most people underestimate. Wealth isn't just built with money, it's built with knowledge. Millionaires are perpetual students of finance. They read books, attend seminars, listen to podcasts, and study case studies of both successes and failures. They know that economies shift, tax laws change, and new investment opportunities emerge all the time. Staying informed gives them an edge over those who are relying on outdated advice or gut feelings. For example, when a new tax credit or investment vehicle becomes available, they're often the first to take advantage of it. Even 20-30 minutes a day dedicated to learning compounds just like money does. This could mean reading about market trends, studying personal finance strategies, or simply analyzing their own spending and investing habits. And here's the key. They act on what they learn. Knowledge without application doesn't build wealth. Millionaires understand that staying curious and informed is one of the most profitable habits they can have, because in the world of money, what you don't know can absolutely cost you. Moving on. Your environment directly influences your decisions, and millionaires are very intentional about who they spend time with. They consciously surround themselves with people who are financially disciplined, forward-thinking, and opportunity-minded. This doesn't mean they only interact with other millionaires. It means they prioritize relationships where the conversation sparks ideas instead of complaints. When your friends see debt as normal and overspending as harmless, it's easy to follow that same pattern. But if your circle discusses investments, business ideas, and ways to improve, those mindsets naturally rub off on you. Many millionaires actively seek out mentors, mastermind groups, or professional networks that challenge them to think bigger. They also cut back time spent with people whose habits pull them in the wrong direction, not out of arrogance, but out of self-preservation. Your network can either be a ladder or an anchor. Millionaires choose ladders. All right, moving forward. Lifestyle inflation is one of the silent wealth killers. It happens when your spending increases as your income rises, leaving your savings rate unchanged. Millionaires resist this temptation. Instead of upgrading their lifestyle at the same pace as their income, they scale it much slower, often linking upgrades to specific asset milestones. For example, they might decide they won't buy a larger home until their investments can cover the mortgage entirely. This discipline keeps their net worth growing even as their earnings increase. They understand that bigger expenses come with bigger commitments, and those commitments can limit freedom. That's why you'll often see high-income earners still driving older cars or living in modest homes. Not because they can't afford more, but because they value financial independence over status symbols. Keeping lifestyle inflation in check ensures that wealth-building momentum isn't slowed by unnecessary spending. And finally, we arrive at a rule that gives all the others meaning: making money serve a bigger purpose. At the highest level, millionaires view money as a tool, not the ultimate prize. It's there to create freedom, security, and impact. For some, that means funding passions like art, travel, or innovation. For others, it's about providing opportunities for their family or contributing to causes they believe in. Having a purpose for wealth keeps motivation high and decisions grounded. Without it, money can lead to aimless consumption or even unhappiness. Think of it like a compass. The purpose points the direction, and the wealth is the vehicle that gets you there. Millionaires who align money with purpose not only build richer bank accounts, but also richer lives. And here's the real secret. When your financial goals are tied to something meaningful, discipline becomes easier because you're not just working for numbers on a screen, you're working for something that matters. These 12 money rules aren't complicated, but they require consistency. Pay yourself first. Invest in assets. Protect your downside. Keep learning. Surround yourself with the right people. Avoid lifestyle inflation. And most importantly, make sure every dollar you earn has a job that aligns with your bigger goals. Wealth isn't about luck. It's about following the right principles and sticking to them year after year. If you found this valuable, watch this next video. It connects directly to what we just discussed. Remember, this video is for educational purposes only and does not constitute investment advice. It is important to conduct thorough research and consult with financial professionals before making any investment decisions. The value of investments can fluctuate, and past performance is not indicative of future results. Always assess your risk tolerance and investment goals before allocating your capital. If you found value today, I highly recommend watching my next video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Also, feel free to leave your comment below, especially if this video made you think differently. I appreciate your support more than you know. Until next time, stay consistent, stay patient, and stay winning. See you in the next one, Money Magician.